Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Oxford United preview show on VBO. I'm Tom, this is Ian, and today we are going to talk about Oxford United versus Fleetwood Town. Now, before we get into Oxford United versus Fleetwood Town, Ian, is there any pressing news from the Yellows?
Well, what has been a great week for Oxford United, Thomas. Obviously, we had wins. Broke a hoodoo last weekend. We'll get back to hoodoos in a bit against Bristol Rovers, and we followed that up with a nuts game against Rochdale, which could have gone either way for the whole 90 minutes. Both sides played great, and Oxford won it 4-3. Obviously, you can click on the reviews for the Rochdale game, and the Bristol Rovers ones will be up in the top corner in the card, so you can click on those. But it wasn't much of a review, I must admit, for the Rochdale one. It was more of a me acting like a mad dog foaming at the mouth after being very excited about it. But
my favourite one we've ever done.
So the main bit of news is obviously Marcus McGuane got injured against Bristol Rovers, and they announced on Tuesday, just for the game, that he will be out for about 4 to 5 weeks. That's a big blow to the side because he was playing so well. He looked probably the most creative out of all the midfielders that we have, and certainly looked like someone that always wanted to get on the ball and drive the game forward, which is what I'd loved about watching him play so far. So he is going to be a loss, and it is a shame. I hope he comes back and gets up to speed pretty quickly. It has meant that Oxford have been forced kind of to play Brannigan maybe more than they want, and I hope that doesn't backfire on him, and I hope we don't just like flog him into the ground, and do take the opportunity to be a bit calmer on him. But other than that, no new signings. Kept their powder dry. I imagine deadline day will be when a couple of loan players come in. I don't know. I still can't work out who this centre-back's going to want to come and sit on the bench. I haven't got a clue. I mean, you'd say we need a centre-back, but let me know in the comments who's going to want to come from a league above or a league below and just sit on the bench and watch Atkinson and Moore play. But the loan players, including McGuane, Shadipo, and I forget who else we've got on loan, we have extended their loans till the end of the season, which is great news, particularly about Shadipo, because he's been a revelation for us, really. He's been fantastic. The goals he's scored have been good, and also they've been of high quality and very important, so you can't ask for more. But other than that, that's about all the news I have. No doubt there'll be some signings today while we're filming this, and we'll have to put a little for both sides, and we'll have to put a little bit in over the top, which is annoying. But no, just the great run continues. Oxford are in great form, and we head into, at this point, the ultimate test.
Because it's Oxford United versus Fleetwood Town. Right, Ian, it is the curse, the effervescent, forever living curse. Fleetwood Town do not lose to Oxford United. Quite literally, they've never done it. They're not going to do it. Fleetwood Town are known as the Fishermen or the Trawlermen, and they certainly troll Oxford United when they play.
There we go. They also got unofficial name of the Cod Army, I think.
Ugh, it's even worse. It's like being slapped in the face by a wet fish. Their recent form is terrible. They've gone 8 matches without a win. They've drawn 3 and lost 2 of their last 5. Their last win actually came on the 12th of December against Swindon, and it was a lowly 1-0 victory. Away from home, they have been nothing short of absolute garbage. They've only got 3 wins away from home. They've lost 6 of the other matches and drawn the other 3, so they do not like leaving the fair streets of Fleetwood Town. They've got 8 wins, 7 draws, and 9 losses.
What's their home ground called, Thomas?
I don't know, Highbury?
Do you know, and how they got that name is they actually moved brick by brick Arsenal Stadium, old stadium. That's why it's called Highbury.
I really wish they'd done that. They've got 8 wins, 7 draws, and 9 losses, so they are losing more than they win right now. Their manager is Simon Wiles. He is the interim manager. He was the youth team boss, but he stepped up when Joey Barton left the club on 4th of January. But when he left, so did director of football Eddie Jennings and coaches Clint Hill and Andy Mangan. Now, it's not unknown for a manager to take his staff with him. They kind of get the job because he's there, and they leave when he leaves. But the director of football left. Fleetwood fans, tell us what's going on with that, because something smells like a cod that's been left under a seat for 3 weeks and has gone off.
I like what you've done there. Have you got any theories, Thomas? Any theories?
Well, I'm really hoping that basically what happened was that Joey Barton and Chet Evans got in a punch up, and Eddie Jennings got in the middle of it, and then like spat in one of their faces and licked the other guys. And then there was a huge touching fit, and then they all got
Have you got any serious theories?
No.
Well, because it just came as a bit of a shock. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that don't like Joey Barton, and we've commented on him on this channel. But you have to say he's done a good job with Fleetwood Town.
Yeah.
They're a side that are not one of the biggest sides in League One, and they've consistently, even before Barton, punched above their weight in this league, and always done a good job to be in and around or in the playoffs. So it was a surprise that he left. Really,
it was.
And I'd really like to know if. Sorry. I'd really like to know if there are any Fleetwood Town fans who can shed any light on why he left. Was it just I imagine he's quite hard work over a long period of time. We know there's some issues with Chet Evans. Let us know. Let us know down in the comments.
Right. Now we've covered the boring stuff. Let's talk about how they play. So currently, under the new manager and under Joey for a fair bit, they vacillate between a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. And personally, that's my favorite sort of change of formations. It's basically the same thing. A 4-2-3-1 is essentially a 4-3-3. It's just how you play it. Man United should do 4-3-3s more often, but they refuse to. So that's what they're stuck with.
I like a 4-4-2 that goes back into a 6-2-2.
What about a diamond midfield with Paul Scholes as the left mid?
That's pretty good. So long as it can go back into a 6 or 7 at the back at any time, I'm happy with that.
I imagine that they're going to play with a 4-2-3-1, or at least start as a 4-2-3-1 against Oxford, because Oxford are scoring tons of goals. Obviously, they put 4 past Rochdale, and they're going to want to try and slow them down in front of goal. Top scorer is Callum Camps. He's got 8 goals and an assist. He's tied for the 10th highest goal scorer in the league. Paddy Madden's got 5 goals, and he's also a creative genius, despite being a striker, with 4 assists, leading the team.
You should see some of his oil paintings.
Beauty. The only real news they've had transfer-wise is that Jean-Noir Donocian has come in on loan from Ipswich. He's slotted straight into right back against Wigan and then played in their last match as well, which is, I think, a 0-0 draw against Northampton. I think we can expect to see him starting right back for the rest of the year. He's replaced Tom Edwards, who was on loan from Stoke. He's been recalled and sent back to the MLS. There's a lot of smoke, much like there is in every League One side, where they're linked to 1 billion and 1 players, and they're definitely going to make a move. And I don't know, Fleetwood fans, tell me, but it feels like nothing's going to happen. You might be lucky to get a manager at this point, because it's been a while and they still haven't appointed anybody. So I'm going to talk about the match really quickly, and then I'll throw it over to Ian, because I don't think anyone cares what I'm talking about anymore. They play a possession-based style of football. Surprise, surprise, no one in League One does that. And they've not changed that since Barton left the club. Their biggest problem is creating opportunities for their strikers. And when they do create opportunities for their strikers aren't scoring them. Their last match against Northampton, very few opportunities created. A lot of shots from outside the box, which every team is happy if they're making the other team do that. They've only scored 29 goals. They're in the bottom half of the league in scoring, and they're in the bottom of the bottom half in scoring. But that's what happens when you get rid of your best striker. I don't know what happened there, but when you go getting rid of Chet Evans, the goals literally dried up, and it's just like it's fallen apart in front of goal for them. As is traditional with this team, their possession-based style of play feeds into a really strong, organized back four, and their ability to keep clean sheets keeps them in the top half of the goals conceded table. They are fantastic defensively. They don't let goals in. Against Northampton, they at best gave up one 1v1 situation, and I don't really think it was, because the defender was pretty much with the striker when he got his shot off. They are a steel trap in front of goal. They don't concede. Fleetwood fans, you've used 3 goalkeepers in the last 10 games, and in the last 6 games, you've used 3 goalkeepers twice. Now, I might just be missing this. Maybe Luke Weiler or whatever his name is got injured, and Cairns got the first crack, or not Cairns, Hilton got the first crack, and then Hilton wasn't doing well enough, so Cairns came in. But can you tell me what's going on? Because as an outsider looking in, trying to figure out something about your club, I don't know who the goalkeeper is. That's kind of important.
It's surprising that old Rottweiler's been left out, though, because he had a really good game against Oxford and they played away. Saved a James Henry penalty and looked pretty good, so surprising.
So, in conclusion, this is going to be a fiercely contested match, and it's not going to be an easy result for OUFC, specifically because of the curse, and also because they don't concede goals. They've had a lot of recent draws, a lot of clean sheets. But Fleetwood are not operating with any confidence, and this is a team that Oxford United, on the form they're in and with the expectations they have, should be beating. Ian, talk about Oxford United.
A wonderful job there, Thomas, of talking about Fleetwood, and I think you've just really summed up the fact that no matter how badly they're doing at the moment, they remain a difficult side to play against. So difficult, in fact, as we've talked about many times on this channel, Oxford United have never beat them. However,
really,
surely we've played them 10 times and had 2 draws, and 12 times, 10 losses, 2 draws. I can't speak for the other sides, but other times, because I can't remember them all. But this feels like this is the best opportunity we've had in a long time to beat Fleetwood Town. Surely we're in such unbelievable form. We're scoring goals. We're looking good at the back, barring that crazy game we had against Rochdale midweek. And you would like to think that we will come up against a side that's struggling and be too strong for them. However, you look at that Fleetwood side and the experience in it, and it just makes you see why they're so hard to beat. People like Glenn Whelan, Mulgrew, Connolly, these guys have been around in like football for donkey's years. I think like Mulgrew and Whelan even played in the Premier League. Burns, such a good right back. Morris, and then you talk about like Camps and Madden and everything. They've got quality players all over the pitch. They really should be really up in and around the playoffs with this side. Obviously, the biggest thing for Oxford is who plays in centre midfield. Brannigan played a full game against Rochdale. How fit is he going to be? And if he doesn't play, that does leave some problems because I'm not a massive fan of Kelly personally. And who's he going to play with him? Hansen didn't play that great against Rochdale. Anthony Ford, is he really the guy that's going to come on and do it? So I hope that Oxford go in with this lineup against Fleetwood. I hope they start with Jack Stevens in goal. Even though he conceded 3 goals, I think we've got to stick with him. Maybe one
garbage.
Then obviously the usual back four, isn't it? It's Ruffles, it's Long, it's Atkinson, it's Elliot Moore as captain, Goran in front of those two. And I hope he plays the centre midfield too. I hope he plays Ford and I hope he plays Henry as the 2 centre midfield players. I have a feeling that Brannigan might be too knackered to play in this game. I have a feeling Ford just gives you a little bit more defensive prowess than Kelly, who's a little bit, I just find him a little bit too lightweight. And I hope you play, on the left-hand side is Mide Shadipo. On the right-hand side is Daniel Addington III. And up front is Matthew Taylor. Now, the other way you could go with this is you play James Henry on the right-hand side and you go for Mark Sykes in the middle, or vice versa. That is the other way you could take it. Yes, who is this Matt Sykes, as you say it? But obviously, Robinson is very unlikely to pick that one, considering Sykes wasn't even on the bench again for the game against Rochdale. So that's how I see it. I mean, that's how I would pick the side to do it. I think that there's not really going to be much change in tactics. I thought Oxford weren't particularly good when they did try to play 4-2-3-1 at the start of the Rochdale game and then went back to the more traditional 4-3-3 and looked a lot better in the second half, which is always the argument against Robinson for me, is the fact whenever he does try a different tactic, we look poor. Whenever we try to do anything other than 4-3-3, we can't seem to do it.
You do feel like he doesn't have them practice any work on it. And then in the match, he's like, boys, I've done the math. Can't play this formation. We're doing this one. And they're like, so what do I do in this situation? He's like, well, you play football. And he's like, yeah, but what is our job here? And he's like, to play football. That's it.
And I think Oxford will, carry on with the same vein of like, the pressing was really impressive. Sounds terrible, doesn't it? Against Rochdale at times. When they did press them, they caused a lot of mistakes and they pressed well as a unit as well, which is something that dipped when the subs came on because they didn't have the same energy or pressed together. And I just above all else, I just hope we can fucking get this monkey off our back. Please, come on. Whatever you need to do, Robinson. Get an old priest and a young priest. Watch Harry Potter movies back to back. Watch Temple of Doom. Whatever you need to do, please.
On that note, come and join us on Saturday, 2:45. We're going to start live streaming. Bring popcorn, maybe bring some holy water and garlic like Ian did for the last one. But come, watch the match with us, talk to us about how you're feeling about it. I will be doing what I did last week and covering every match that's being played that day, and Ian will just be watching Oxford, giving constant updates and telling you how much of his mind he's losing. We talked to you enough about this. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking. And oh God, what's happening? No. Oh God. Oh God, no.